So you've got a 1928 bungalow in Grand Park, and you paid $118,000 for it. Zillow says it's worth $780,000, and you're thinking about selling it. Then the buyer's inspector spends 3 hours under your house and hands over a 47-page report. And your buyer comes back asking for $30,000 off. Here's the thing, friend. In a house built before 1950 inside the perimeter, that inspector is going to find the same 5 things almost every single time. 4 of them you can find yourself before your house is ever on the market for a lot less than $1,000. And the whole difference between a $30,000 negotiation and a $4,000 one. I'm Christa Coore-Powell, your Atlanta realtor with eXp Realty, and let's go through all 5. Before we get into it, the Intown Atlanta Seller Checklist, atlantasellerguide.com, has this exact pre-listing inspection list. Grab it now. Okay, let's get into it. Number 1, and this is the one that kills your deals, the sewer lateral. Big words. That's the pipe that's running from your house out to the city main on the street. And the city owns the main, you own the lateral. And in a pre-1950 Intown house, that lateral is clay tile or cast iron. Clay cracks, cast iron rusts closed from the inside. And every one of these streets, Grand Park, Kirkwood, Cabbagetown, it is lined with 80-year-old water oaks whose roots have been hunting for water for 80 years. A camera scope costs $100 to $150. A replacement runs $3,000 to $15,000, depending on the scope and size of the work. So if that line runs under a mature street tree or your driveway, it's the high end of that, plus a tree removal permit if you're in a historic district. So here's what I want you to do. Camera it before you list. Not after you're under contract, when you've got no leverage and the buyer now has decided the whole house has a problem. Because if you find it first, you've got 3 choices. Fix it, price it in, or disclose it and let the buyer decide. If their inspector finds it first, you've got 1 choice, theirs. Number 2, your electrical panel. And this one isn't really about safety. Houses built in the 20s, 30s, and 40s were wired with something called knob and tube. Most have been partly updated by now, but partly is doing a lot of work in that sentence. There's almost always some left in the attic, and plenty of these houses still run a fuse box or a 60-amp service, where a modern buyer needs 200. Now listen, the reason this matters is not that your house is dangerous. You've lived there for 22 years and it's been fine. The reason matters is the insurance binder. Carriers have gotten very strict. Some won't write a policy on knob and tube at all. And Georgia premiums are up roughly 40% since 2021, and they're projected to go up another 10% this year. That's not my number, that's the Money Geek 2026 number. So roof age is an underwriting trigger as well, somewhere around 12 to 15 years. And a bungalow roof is a steep pitch. This is not a cheap replacement. So here's why you care. If your buyer can't get the insurance binder, they can't get the loan. That's not a repair negotiation. That's a dead deal 30 days in, and your house is going back on the market, wearing a back on market tag that every buyer's agent in the city can see. Before you list, open the panel, photograph it, and get an electrician to write you a letter. And know how old your roof is. Number 3, the crawl space. Almost every pre-1950 house inside the perimeter sits on brick piers in Georgia red clay. And red clay swells when it's wet, shrinks when it's dry, which it does every single year. Forever. Your floors may slope, and you stopped noticing that back in 2009. Your buyer's inspector will not stop noticing, because he's going to set a marble down in your dining room and film it rolling. Then there's the moisture. Half these crawl spaces have no vapor barrier at all. And after a week of Atlanta summer rain, there is standing water under your house. Now, most of this is about a $2,000 to $4,000 shitting job. That's it. But that is not what scares people. What scares people is 1 sentence in the report. Recommend further evaluation by a qualified structural engineer. That sentence has cost my sellers more money than any actual repair ever has. So get in front of it. A structural engineer's letter runs between $300 to $1,000 for simple residential requests, and it turns there may be a problem into here is the problem, here is the fix, here is the cost. Buyers will negotiate against a number, but they will run from a mystery. And here's the in-town only piece. Every comp on your street has the same crawl space. So this isn't about having a worse house than your neighbor. It's about having better paperwork than your neighbor. Number 4, galvanized water lines. Galvanized steel was standard through about 1960, and it rusts closed from the inside out. From the outside, the pipe will look perfectly fine, and then inside, the opening is now down to about the width of a pencil. And you can test this in 10 seconds. Really easy. Write this down. You're going to run the shower and then flush the toilet at the same time. If the shower pressure falls off a cliff, there's your answer. Or maybe you just notice whether the water runs a little brown for the first 30 seconds every morning. The version I see most often is a partial repipe. So somebody redid the kitchen in 1998, so there's shiny copper under the sink, and the original galvanized is still running through the walls of the rest of the house. Your inspector will find that out in about 4 minutes. A full repipe typically ranges from $5,000 to $15,000 for a whole house, depending on whether you're working from crawl space or breaking concrete. You don't have to fix this, but you do absolutely need to know before somebody else writes it down on a report and hands it to your buyer. Number 5 is kind of 2 things: asbestos and lead paint. The asbestos is usually 9x9 floor tile in the basement or the back hall, and the black mastic underneath it. Sometimes it's the wrap on old ductwork or boiler pipes. Undisturbed, that is not a hazard. It becomes a cost the moment somebody starts ripping it out. And lead paint, any house built before 1978 comes with a federal disclosure requirement, plus a 10-day window for the buyer to have it tested if they want to. That's not optional, and it's not a Georgia thing, that's federal. I'm not a licensed abatement contractor, and neither are you, unless maybe you are. But right now, I'm thinking you're not. So please do not go start scraping anything. Talk to somebody licensed before you touch it. And this whole section is really about this. None of these 5 things means don't sell, but they do mean I don't want you to be surprised. There's a 6th one, quickly, because in town it shows up more than anywhere else in Metro Atlanta, and that's the paperwork, the finished basement, the converted attic, the porch somebody closed in around 2004. Pull your City of Atlanta permit history before you list, because if that square footage was never permitted, your appraiser may not count it, and your buyer's lender may not lend on it. So, 3 buckets. Fix the things that killed the loan: the sewer line, the panel, the roof if it's at the end of its life. Those are repairs, those are closing conditions. Document the things that scare people: structural, asbestos, lead. A letter beats a mystery every time. And leave the kitchen alone. Your 1994 kitchen is not why a buyer is asking for $30,000. The crawl space is. I've done this move before. I've seen it done with other people. And when I've done this move more than once across states and across the world, the thing that I've learned is the expensive part is never the house, it's the surprise. So here's what I would do this week. Go to atlantasellerguide.com and download the Intown Atlanta Seller Checklist. The pre-listing inspection list we just walked through is in there, plus 3 things I check on every bungalow before it goes live. And if you'd rather just talk it through, my number is 470-740-6387. Or book a seller strategy call at a link in the description. It's free and it is not a pitch. Strategy, not stress. I'll see you next time.